It is a warm one today, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Sarah, if we haven't met. Oh my goodness. It says it's just about 10 o'clock right now, and it's 84 degrees already here in Western Maryland. It says it feels like 91. The high temp today is 97, and the humidity right now is 71%. So it is like suffocatingly hot. I think I'm gonna have the kids do their swimming here really soon, let them play outside, and then be inside in the afternoon because it's just too hot to be outside. But I'm gonna walk down here and check my garden. So far today, I've done a couple loads of laundry. I hung out 2 loads last night that are probably dry, although it's so humid, it takes forever. I'm on my 3rd load washing for today. I'm gonna do at least one more, try to get caught back up from the weekend and get those hung out maybe this afternoon or evening and let them dry till tomorrow. But I put in some of that pork carnita roasts that I got at Aldi that I showed you in my grocery haul. I put those in the crock pot for dinner, and then I'll just do some rice with it and maybe a fruit or a vegetable and call that dinner so I don't have to turn the oven on. We're reheating leftovers for lunch, and then I was thinking about breakfasts because I didn't really plan for those. We just keep breakfast foods on hand. I have a lot of eggs here and stuff, but my kids don't really like just eggs. We usually do something that's sweet at breakfast time, and that usually requires the oven, or oatmeal. We do a lot of oatmeal. But this morning I made applesauce muffins, except that I used peach sauce instead of applesauce, and the kids seem to like them. I ate hard-boiled eggs. I don't know. I didn't have them, but they seem to like them. But I was thinking that I don't necessarily want to run the oven every morning this week. I do want to do breakfast cookies at some point this week. They're pumpkin and whole wheat flour and oats and either honey or maple syrup. So they're fairly healthy. The gnats are awful. We live near a river, can you tell? Because the gnats are horrendous here. But anyway, so thinking about breakfasts, my son works one of his jobs. He works 2 jobs plus does lawn care on the side. So he's working like 80 to 100 hours a week sometimes. It's insane. But he's really saving money because he needs to buy a car, and he wants to move out, so move off the property. But one of his jobs is at a Bet and Dent store, and he brought us home so much keto granola that is out of date, but it's still fine. He's eaten some of it. So I started a pot of yogurt in the Instant Pot with powdered milk because I can add more milk than it calls for to just reconstitute for milk, and it makes it thicker and richer yogurt. So I did 3 quarts of that. That'll just be enough for probably 1 breakfast, but it's in the Instant Pot, and if it goes well, I can do another pot tomorrow or whatever. So I have all the food going for today, that figured out. So I'm gonna walk down here into the garden, and I'm gonna tell you what happened yesterday in this episode of It's Always Something. So actually on Saturday, today's Monday, Saturday we went to a birthday party, and on the way home I noticed this like rattling sound in the van, and I kept like grabbing at stuff that was in the cup holders and making sure that something wasn't rattling in there, and it would like stop and it'd come back. Couldn't figure out what it was. So I kind of let it go, and then yesterday on our way to church it started making this noise again, and it sounded like something fell and hit me. It sounded like a walnut bouncing on the roof of the van. So we got to the dollar store where we could pull off, and my husband got out and he was like, "There's nothing on the roof. I don't know what this is. Maybe it fell off." But as soon as we pulled out of the parking lot, it started again, and it just sounded like something bouncing on the roof. And the roof's flat. Like, you could see something if it was up there, and I don't know how something could really stay there anyway. But we drove the rest of the way to church and dealt with the noise. And then whenever we got there, my husband was like, "Let me check something." And he looked, and the seal that goes at the top, well, it goes the whole way around the windshield, but at the very top, like the glue dried out or something, and it's gappy. It's like coming loose in a spot, and so the air was coming and kicking up that rubber seal and making this awful noise. Who would have thought? I've never heard of this before. So we thought we could call Safelite. I mean, they sell the windshield rubber glue stuff, but Dan was like, I just want to make sure it's not going to leak. It hasn't leaked so far. Obviously, it's probably been bad since we bought it. So we called Safelite, thinking that they could just get us in and glue it back down. Or even if they thought that we needed a whole new seal, we could do that. But Dan called this morning and they were like, nope, we don't deal with used windshields. We only replace windshields. And I was like, their commercials say Safelite repair, Safelite replace. And they said, well, they repair glass. Like if there's a crack in your windshield, they can fill that in. They have some kind of a compound to repair a crack, but they don't mess with old windshields. And they said it's not a safety issue. Like, it's not like our windshield's gonna fall out or that it's an issue that this thing needs replaced. It's not going to cause any further damage, I guess. But they just said they don't touch old windshields because then it's a liability issue for them, and someone could come back and be like, my windshield broke and you touched it, and so it's your fault. So they won't do it. So we finally found a body shop. Luckily, it's only like 1.5 miles from our house. And if you know, nothing is only 1.5 miles from our house. But I told you guys, the old school in our town was repurposed into a bunch of businesses, and there's a body shop in it. And he said he will fix it for us. So we're going to take that down later this week and get that fixed, because it's always something. There's always something that is going wrong. So anyway, I'm going to show you my garden because we got so much rain and now we have so much heat. I'm going to show you what it looks like. First of all, my tires are not doing well, and this is all squash, which I feel like usually does really well, and I don't know what the issue is. But guys, look at the weeds and stuff. Oh my goodness, it's awful. Actually, I think that's mint that's escaped its plant, or its space. This is where the mint is supposed to live, but it's not staying there, which I know is shocking to everyone who's ever grown mint, that it wouldn't stay where it's supposed to. But of course the mint is doing well. None of the squash is doing well. We'll see. Maybe I'll replant again. I did just replant the zucchini, but basil is coming up. The basil. Parsley is not. Lemon balm looks good. This was oregano. It doesn't look like it's doing anything. Cilantro is not doing anything, but look at my taters. They're really pretty, except that the entire garden is covered with baby weeds, and I don't even know. I'm gonna have to either hoe them out or wait until they grow a little bit bigger. Tomatoes are looking good. They are happy, especially in the heat. I think they are loving the heat. I am not watering if I can avoid it. I just feel like it's better for the plants to learn to cope, and so I don't water unless things get really dry, and then I'll water from, we have 2 rain barrels, one there and one on the other side of the house that we'll water from. We've got some flowers. These are the sweet 100s, so they're grape tomatoes, which is why they're a little bit earlier. And I planted so many cucumbers this year. I just filled these up with cucumbers, and I'll show you the other ones too, because last year they didn't do anything. They had a fungus and they did not do it. There was a fungus among us. But these are all cucumbers, and the same thing, I put in so many. These ones are getting bitten up by bugs, and it's only that variety. There's the dragon egg cucumber. They're so cool, but oh no, I guess that one is too. And those are munchers. So I don't know. Hopefully the heat will deter some of the bugs as well. We've got marigolds. Can you see them through all of the weeds? we've got marigolds. And the kohlrabi is up. I don't know if it's going to do anything. It's kind of late in the year. This is the kale. We've got a couple rows of it. And there's supposed to be spinach, and it's not looking so good. And more marigolds. And these are the kids' little beds with their three sisters plants. Even their squash are not doing well. So I don't know. It's not a good year for squash, maybe. All along here, if you look for the red stems, there are beets, and they are going to need thinned out here very soon. But they're up, and that's wonderful. Hopefully we'll get a good yield on them. And then lots of bean plants. And they're looking good. I wish I had planted more, but this is what we've got. We've got 2.25 rows of beans, but I can buy beans if I need to. And then this is supposed to be carrots, and carrots really don't do well for us here. These are the Nantes half long, which I thought would be better because our ground is clay, and they have a tendency to just break off. Like, you go to pull them and they break because the ground is so hard. But these ones are the Danvers, I think is how you say it, carrots, and they need thinned out as well. There's a ton of those that came up. And then our baby okras, and these need to go because these are Jimson weeds, and they are awful, even though they make beautiful flowers. So okra the whole way up there. Peppers are looking good. There's another Jimson weed. Oh, it needs to go. Not seeing really, well, I guess there are some buds on my peppers, but you guys see how thick the weeds are. Everything's thriving, including the weeds. There we've got a little flower on these. I believe these are jalapenos. And then our one sweet banana pepper plant, and it's looking good. And then the last thing is more potatoes, 3 rows of potatoes here. And they're looking good. So it's only been about 2 weeks since I showed you guys the last garden update, and it looks amazing. It's crazy to me how quickly things change in a garden this time of year, especially when you have that combination of moisture and heat. Everything's just exploding. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get in here and weed, but I think I need to wait a little bit longer and let some of the plants get a little bit bigger and more established before I go pulling stuff out, because I'm afraid I'm going to pull the wrong thing or something's going to come out inadvertently with it. Oh, the gnats, can you guys see them flying around? They're awful. So anyway, we're going to go swim. We're going to have lunch. I'll see you guys soon. We got done with lunch, and I talked to my husband on the phone a couple of times. I talked to my mom on the phone a couple of times, and I got the laundry from last night taken down and 2 loads put up on the line before I was just too hot to do anymore, and so I'll do the other 2 loads here in a little bit. But I was going over our bills and stuff, and we pay our electric, of course, and that's like $300 a month, and I would love to get that down. Part of it is my son's camper. I know he uses a lot of electricity out there, and so he pays $100 of our electric bill. So our portion is $200, but then we also pay propane, and that's because our water heater and our stove are propane. So we have to do that, and we get it delivered. We have a 100-pound tank in the backyard. You've probably seen it whenever I'm hanging up laundry, and so once a month they come and fill that up. But instead of us just paying whatever it was, we got onto a budget billing program, because sometimes they would forget to fill it every month, and then it would be like a couple of months, and then the bill would be super big, or I don't know. It was just easier to know, okay, I need to pay this certain amount every month, And so for the last 3 years, I believe, our budget amount for our propane has been $227 every month. So add that to our $200 in electricity, we're at $427. If you counted our sons, like the total bill is $527 between electricity and propane. But once a year, the propane has like a level up month, I think is what they call it. So you pay for 12 months, and then the 13th month they look at how much you've paid in, how much you've used, what your account balance is, and then adjust for the next year. And so like I said, for the last 3 years it hasn't changed, but the last year I don't know if propane has gone down in price or if we've just done a better job at using less propane, which I kind of doubt, honestly. But I was watching our balance through the year, and like we were consistently paying more than the propane was costing us every month. So we were building up a buffer, I guess, in the account. So today I checked, because they put out their bills on the 20th and today's the 23rd, and our new budget billing amount is $152. So we're gonna save $75 a month for the next year. I'm guessing at the end of next year, once we've paid 12 months, so it'll be like next July will be our level up month. I'm guessing at that point that it will go back up a little bit. I think they've dropped it so far because they don't want to owe us money if we would decide to not be customers anymore. But I will take it. I will take it. That's $75 we can allocate to something else, and I am very thankful for that. The yogurt is done, ready to go into the fridge. Looks pretty thick. And dinner's about done back there. Looking good.